So, we're live. We're on the stream. Someone already followed me. That's neat. But why is it not showing anything on here? Oh, it's Andrew. All right. You got anything, honey? Oh, gotcha. Sweet. Cool. Should probably stop echoing myself. All right, let's play a little KOTOR. If you can see me, then you can go back to sleep, honey. All right. So I'm going to go with my normal setup for this game, which is to obviously have an Asian guy. I always like this guy. So if I remember, my dump stat of this was always... everything up. Almost everything. Two-handed, Alright. So the purpose of this is not just to replay this game, which is awesome, but to point out exactly how we can make 6 seasons worth of stuff. Because there's just so much depth to this game. What? Yeah. Oh, because of the video, I think. So what happens if I skip it? So I have the game on. Okay. So it cuts out because of the videos. You see a bald man trying to get out of bed? Yeah, so the videos cut out. That's good to know. Videos are not super important.
We've been ambushed by a Sith battle fleet. The Endar Spire is under attack. Hurry up, we don't have much time.
So, right out the gate, the pan-in for the start of the show, or the very first episode or whatever, is panning in on the Endar Spire. And we can even pan over the guy in bed if we need to, but the part that I think is extremely helpful is to actually pan to the ship and see the start of the fight. Not just radio people talking over the radio about getting attacked, but seeing Karth, seeing Bastila, who are already on this ship, and what they're dealing with when the attack happens, instead of you, who doesn't know what the hell's going on. You don't even know who this person is.
I'm Trask Olgo, ensign with the Republic Fleet. I'm your bunkmate here on the Endar Spire. You work opposite shifts. I guess that's why you haven't seen me before. Now hurry up! We have to find Bastila. We have to make sure she makes it off the ship alive.
And so...
You swore an oath to protect Bastila when you signed up with this mission, just like everyone else in the crew. Now it's time to make good on that oath. I know she may not have an official rank in the fleet, but she's the one in charge of this mission, and it's our duty to protect her. I know all about your reputation, how you used to smuggle spice and blasters along the Corellian run. I guess the Republic figured since they couldn't catch you, they might as well hire you. And I'll admit, the Republic is in desperate need of someone with your kind of skills. Desperate enough to overlook your shady past. But now that you signed on for this mission, you're part of the Republic fleet, and Bastila needs all troops at her side during this attack. So hurry up and grab your gear. You need to suit up so we can get out of here.
So, I think starting off this entire episode with checking out what Bastila is actually doing, what Karth is actually doing. They did that a little bit in the movie, but actually having their established roles in place before we ever pan to this situation.
You can move the mouse to the edges of the screen to rotate the camera. Alternately, moving the mouse while holding down the right mouse button will rotate the camera as well.
What is that? Thank you. I don't need to know about this. Oh my god.
To move towards the footlocker, hold, you can let...
Thank you. So, I think having that set up the actual scene is way more important. But not cutting off, because in the movie they had the guy as an engineer, and then he tried to introduce himself and he never actually gets his name out and he never says who he is. He's just the engineer, which is cute, but at the end of the day, I think it's actually better to have a random name, whatever it may be, and also having a like a little bit of flashbacks for the character while he's in his sleep, right? So he's not just, oh, I'm having trouble sleeping because we're under attack, obviously, but more like flashes of some sort of past. Even him as a kid, right? As a really young child running around and doing something like that. So we get a sense of this is a real person and not just whoever Trask Olgo says you are when you get to the very beginning of the game.
Okay, let's move out. We should stick together. You'll have more success with a party than on your own.
So here we got Trask.
Because of the attack, this room is in lockdown. But don't worry, I've got the override codes. You'll have to use me to unlock the door.
Also give him the gun.
Now that the door's open, you better take the lead again.
Actually, let me switch back. I'll be the one with the guns. He can hold on to this one. Especially when I get that new one. Thank you. Right.
This is Carthonasi. The Sith are threatening to overrun our position. We can't hold out long against their firepower. All hands to the bridge!
That was Karth contacting us on our portable communicators. He's one of the Republic's best pilots. He's seen more combat than the rest of the Endar Spire's crew put together. If he says things are bad, you better believe it. We have to get to the bridge to help defend Bastila. There's a map of the Endar Spire and a copy of Karth's message in your electronic journal, just in case we get separated.
So, I think having Trask being sent by either Bastila or Karth to come get you adds a lot more dynamic to his backstory and makes sense as to why he comes and gets you when the rest of the crew is, whatever. Because why would he come and just pick you up for no reason unless somebody told him? It also could be because he's talked highly about both Bastila and Karth. It could be either one of them. It could even be a silly thing at the very beginning of the show to kind of set the humor, where Bastila and Karth, because in the game they actually snipe at each other a little bit, where both of them want him to go get you, but for different reasons. Or Bastila wants him to go get you, and Karth's like, why? It's just some random smuggler, who cares? And both of them snapping at him, just go get him. Something like that, to show the interplay between two of the main characters and build a backstory for Trask. All of that before the main character even comes on screen. I think most of this idea of having a show around this game is about what happens when the main character is not on screen as much as the things that actually happen during the course of the game. Because you have a TV format, you can go through all of these different processes. So we could be cutting back and forth between what is happening with the main character and what is happening with Karth and Bastila. There could be this entire first getting off the Endar Spire should be the first episode of the TV show. And there should be an A and B plot of tracking what Karth is doing, tracking what Bastila is doing, tracking what's happening leading up to them coming out of hyperspace and getting attacked. All of this backstory can be built in. And we can have a sense of, we know what's going on, we understand the situation. The main character is the one who doesn't know what's going on. And that's what creates the dramatic or situational irony, is they're going, what is happening? I'm just here as a smuggler or whatever I am. I'm not here to actually be anybody special. And you see the bigger picture.
No problem. Got it.
At least whenever as a smuggler.
These Sith must be the advanced boarding party for the Republic!
He's extremely cocky and he says, no problem, I got it, that sort of thing. So that's always fun as well. Let's have...
Yes.
Start attacking people. Go get them. Thank you. Seriously, I don't need all of the tips. But I haven't played this game in a long time, and it's our first walkthrough, so...
Sure. I've got a feeling that won't be our last battle with the Sith. Good thing we have med packs to heal our wounds. It might be a good idea to use one now before our next battle.
He's fine. Also, as usual, my character's not going to be at the broadside of the barn until maybe we get off the ship. So, relying exclusively on Trask to get us out of here is very on point with what should happen in the show as well, right? Showing that Trask knows what's up, he's the one who's leading the way. In the movie, they did a fantastic job of this. Only thing is that the main character is played by a guy who's at least 6 inches taller than everybody else in the movie, so they really don't sell it well that Trask is this large and in charge dude. He's played very convincingly, but when you're 6 inches shorter than the guy who's scared and doesn't know what's going on, it just doesn't sell as well. But here, he's going to obliterate everybody because, well, he's a soldier and I am not. Actually, down. That was pretty good. Right. Stuff. Which even in should be really important, right? Like, especially if you have a smuggler and you have, you know, you're going through and you're trying to run from place to place and, oh, we don't have time and blah, blah, blah. A smuggler still absolutely would be checking out every single container, every single thing, and being like, nah, I gotta look out for taking care of my business. So, stealth generator. Combat suit. I definitely don't think him, because again, him dressing up and being in his jacket or whatever is totally fine. Him changing in the middle of probably not so much. But at least picking out lockers and stuff like that, trying to pick up whatever he can. Battle that's going on. Throw the grenade and kill your own guy, why not?
I'll avoid what I can.
That's how you show that you're stuff.
What?
Definitely showing this sort of thing where one guy's come in and try to wipe everybody out. But even showing the combat, which in the show or in the movie, they aren't the best stage combatants, and that's totally fine. But trying to show the duration of the battle and stuff like that, this absolutely could be stretched out over an entire episode. Because you've got a full-on battalion of Sith troopers who are coming in to try and get Bastila, and the thing right here is going to come up. Trask is literally going to say, the Sith want Bastila alive, but as soon as she's off the ship, we're in trouble, or whatever. It's like, okay, why do they want her alive? They kind of talk about it in the movie if she has this special power, it's battle meditation, blah blah, and it's like, okay, yeah, but why? So yeah, so you could even backtrack just a little bit before the main character is asleep. Totally fine. Give him a little bit of that backstory that he has. Being a smuggler, you know, smuggling whatever. All of that is very easily done to make this dynamic. Because, I mean, you have a 45-minute episode. Usually that's how long these episodes are. They're not usually a full 60 minutes.
Sure.
One page of dialogue or action or whatever is usually approximately 1 minute of screen time just to get to here. And again, we're talking about a fairly small ship, but we're already going through, let's see, so that's the head of the ship, those are your quarters, so you've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms, give or take. That's absolutely 10 minutes worth of story. Because again, if you're cutting between the A and B plots of what's happening on the other side of the ship while this stuff is going on, 20 minutes for each plot is easy. Especially if we have any sort of background on this setup right here, where you've also got Jedi who are on board. Not just
Dark Jedi! This fight is too much for us. We better stay back. All we do is get in the way.
Who are these two people fighting? Because they're two Jedi and Jedi Sith. Would love to see the landing group that brought Darth Bandit.
That was one of the Jedi accompanying Bastila.
board.
Damn, we could have used her help.
I love the fact that they have this big old duel, and there are multiple Sith troopers out of the way who are trying to stay out of the way, and we're trying to stay out of the way too, and we're just kind of hanging out looking at each other going, let's wait and see what happens before we start shooting at each other. We don't want to accidentally get in the way of the Force user that's on our team. Definitely ways to add that into the beginning part where Bastila and Karth might have an interaction. Trask has an interaction with one of them or both of them. The other Jedi that are on the ship should be, added to this mix as well. And just have an idea of how many Jedi were even on the ship. We only see 2, but were there more? Who knows? Was there more than 2 Sith who came on board? Again, we don't really know. Because there are plenty of Dark Force users throughout the game. So, are they sending a half a dozen people? Or are they sending just 2? And for the 2 Jedi that are on board, there's a lot of unanswered story questions that could be very fun to explore in the space of this 45-minute episode. Even while also showing off what happens, which is you're fighting for your life through all these people. And everything else. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Trask is just going to take care of it. But even here, she has her lightsaber that's down, or whatever, and especially from her remains in the game, you have this vibration cell or something like that. Cool. Is he going to be able to use that and do all sorts of cool stuff with that? Not until he gets his prototype Vibra Blade a little later. But there could be something special from that interchange, right? Something that can then carry over from episode to episode. It doesn't have to be some sort of plot device, more of the prototype Vibra Blade and any of the other things we're allowed to customize and modify are supposed to kind of show growth and development. It's supposed to level up with your character as you go along, right? As a role-playing game, your character gets stronger, you get stronger weapons, etc. But the prototype Vibra Blade is actually something that lasts the whole game, and it's something you get in the very first level. Having that be a kind of symbolism of the character's growth from the very beginning, such as the thing I picked, which was, I'm saving my own skin, I want to get out of here. Kind of selfish smuggler sort of starting point to being potentially a hero.
Sure.
That's the kind of thing that you can have in these moments because you have that extra space to actually show off what's going on.
The bridge is just beyond that door. You better equip your melee weapon. There isn't much room on the bridge, and it's suicide to use a blaster in close quarters. I should equip a melee weapon, too. Either that or I'll have to stay back and use my blaster.
So I love having this interchange so that you go, what if they have lightsabers?
Your melee weapon is made using a Cortosis weave. It's strong enough to stand up against anything, even a lightsaber.
Yeah, so then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, totally fine for you to fight a Jedi. Just saying. Oh, okay. So then why did we stay out of the way of the fight that we just had? But I love having that mention as well, because you go in here, and I'm just going to have here.
We'll be fighting in close quarters on the bridge.
All right,
you better equip a melee weapon before we go through that door.
Put melee weapon on. And I did pick two-handed weapon fighting, though I'm still pretty bad at it. So here, oh, they're right here. But you see, there are other guys on the bridge who are Republic soldiers. We see a few bodies here. We see a lot of bodies here, actually. But they should still be engaged in some sort of fight, right? Like in terms of the episode, if we're seeing how Karth and Bastila would have started on the bridge, and they would have said, oh man, we're under attack, we gotta spread out, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. Cool. Trying to maybe have Karth drag Bastila to the escape pods, which I think was something they showed in the movie as well. Good idea. Leaving the guys behind, cover us, whatever it is. And then even showing how the Sith are able to get to the bridge while these guys are still trying to fight to keep them out. And other Sith get to the other side of the bridge. Either they have multiple landing craft that somehow breach, which would be something worth showing, I think. As well as us, Trask and the main character, sneaking up on them, right? Instead of them being ready to fight us with melee weapons, they might be having a firefight with these guys and we come up on them from behind. All valid things that, you know, this game wouldn't be able to pull off in 2003. But a straight up TV show would be great. Show. And see, they're still fighting up there.
Bastila's not here on the bridge. They must have retreated to the escape pods. We better head that way too. The Sith want Bastila alive, but once she's off the ship, there's nothing stopping them from blasting the Endar Spire into galactic dust.
Why do they want her alive? He doesn't say. Doesn't really matter to him. But you can see that part of the bridge explodes or whatever, and somehow you're not only leveled up, but you're able to grab all their stuff. Again, probably not, but if there's a backpack, there's other stuff on there, yeah, absolutely, my smuggler character would be checking all that out. You know, while Trask is running over, say, to check on see if any of these guys made it, right? Because they were fighting each other, and then there was a big explosion. In a dramatic scene, he's going over and trying to check on the other soldiers. My guy's going, yeah, and then also trying to see what is in these little bits and pockets. Because he's basically a rogue, he's going to be trying to accumulate as many credits as possible. Something that makes a lot more sense in terms of what he's doing planet to planet, trying to get involved in people's business and trying to make money. Especially when it comes up that you have to spend 2,000 credits to buy a droid, for example. In the movie, they had Mission, the other smuggler/rogue character, be like, that's like my entire life savings, and they're like, oh, thanks so much for spending 2,000 credits, and then they make a big joke out of the main character always uses Mission as his bankroll, even though she's a little kid. By comparison, she's a teenager, and they make a joke about how young she is and how he's her big brother, but he's using her for her money, just like her actual big brother in the game uses her. It doesn't exactly line up with, I think, a character that is fully fleshed out, where if he's always had this need to kind of look out for himself and to cover himself, it would make sense that he was a smuggler. It would make sense that he's always looking around to try and pick up stuff, rifle through stuff. It's where a lot of the storylines come from, is because you stumble into things when you keep going into spots that you're not supposed to go into. Yeah. So the next one was toughness. That might have been 3. Demolitions and stealth, persuade, awareness, and injury. But even you could even break it down to the point where, as you're going through this process, you can see where the character learns empathy or whatever. Or the second, he picks up a weapon the first time and he's like, well, this sucks. I need to get used to using 2. Something like that. You could still have that space to show off those moments and make it a thing that carries over from episode to episode, rather than, if it's a trilogy, okay, you got 3 movies to show this person's growth. Cool. If we have 6 seasons, we've got like 60 hours worth of growth. So it's all good. All right, let me just make sure of something. All right. So, of course, the last part that is, I didn't think was super well done in the video or in the movie.
Something behind here.
They showed off
Damn, another Dark Jedi! I'll try to hold him off. You get to the escape pods. Go!
Him going, I'm gonna hold him off to the escape pods is fine. Him bashing the, because they did the thing where they said blast door secured in the thing. and then someone uses the force to open the door and then they get attacked and stuff like that. Alright, yeah. It was kind of a weird detail to put in there that all of the soldiers get obliterated because of some move like that. But this guy, Trask, is going to somehow hold him off long enough that Darth Bandon won't also track the main character. It's not really, like I said, it's not that it's impossible, it's that they went out of their way to show how it was very, very, very improbable for him to pull it. So, but I also like the go up to it. Trask has bought you the time you need to escape. You should make your way to the starboard section of the ship. Yup, that's what we need to do. But again, this is in a video game setting where you kind of have to lock everything down so you can't keep messing with the story. When it's in a TV setting, you can make this a big deal where this is the... If we're saying it's a 45-minute episode, this is like minute 30, right, of this high, well, really low point, but high tension.
This is Carthel Nassi on your personal communicator. I'm tracking your position through the Endar Spire's life support systems. Basila's escape pod is away. You're the last surviving crew member on the Endar Spire. Now, I can't wait for you much longer. You have to get to the escape pods. But be careful. There's a Sith patrol just down the corridor. Use your stealth skill to sneak past him.
So, because I'm stealth, and again, if we're using full-on Disney-level production value, we absolutely can show off this stealth ability that he has.
I'll avoid what I can.
And let this kind of play out of him stealthing through stuff, and even having, again, you've got dead public soldiers everywhere. Why is this guy getting distracted? Who knows? Maybe the character can show off how clever he is by distracting the guys and sneaking by them. Now, in this one, you can't get by it. You're gonna have to take care of business. So we'll see how this goes. One point. There's one. Only good news is they're just as bad as I am. Even though I'm not dodging.
Be careful. There's a whole squad of Sith troopers on the other side of that door. You need to find some way to thin their numbers. You could reprogram the damaged assault droid to help you, if you have enough repair parts. Or you could use computer spikes to slice into the terminal and use the Endar Spire's security systems against the Sith.
And of course he's telling you this, but he can't access any of this stuff to help you. You know, he can see that there's a bunch of people, but he can't slice in to the same system he's using to access it. Totally fine, whatever. So we've got six computer spikes, and we've got 4 to overload the circuit. Cool. Or, even with my really, really low repair module, I only have to use 3 to engage it in control. And again, this is something where a character who is a little more... I am in favor of using the smuggler, because the backstory you're given is much more in-depth. Why you're here, why you don't know much about the Republic, why all of this stuff is brand new to you. Well, they just brought you on because they couldn't catch you. Cool. So it shows that he's very intelligent and, you know, fairly persuasive. So he's gonna go, well, I could use both of them. Well, which one is cheaper? So, this one is cheaper. Leave it alone. And then I stealth. Also, locker while we're at it. Oh, I already did that. Absolutely obliterates them. Only needed 3 to do it. And because we're getting to the end of the level, here's my prototype Bible Blaster. Or Viper Blade, I mean. Apologies. So I don't need to get my health up. We're here now. So if we look over the whole map of the place, this is just the starboard section. 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms in this side. And again, having 2 groups or 2 landing ships that get in and blow this stuff up. Okay. It explains why the Republic forces are overwhelmed. It explains why there are multiple groups of guys that don't all seem to know what the hell's going on. Not only from the Republic, who are getting overwhelmed, but from the Sith, who... And Darth Vanden's just kind of hanging out in that room by himself, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, someone happened to open the door. Let me turn on my double-bladed lightsaber and kill them. Okay. So, there's so much of the ship, even though there are about... almost 10 different distinct sections, almost 12 distinct sections in this first level, or in the Ender Spire. There are easily another half a dozen places that you could show on the ship if you needed to quote-unquote fill time. In fact, there's plenty of opportunities to really get in-depth into who Trask is and why it sucks so much that he sacrificed himself for you. You know, even in the very brief time that they had him on screen for the 2-hour movie, for the fan film, the actor did an amazing job really committing to who Trask was and how hardcore he was and how he was going to look out for the rookie no matter what. And it played really well. But if you had an extra 10 to 15 minutes to dedicate to Trask as a person and adding it in who Karth is and his role as the guy running the ship. Again, Karth Onassi's this big-time war hero. In the movie, they made him a lieutenant and was like, I'll rank him and all that. It's like, Karth Onassi's a massive war hero. Everybody knows this. He is the dude. He should be basically running the capital ship this whole time, or at least be one of the main people helping to run it. And they didn't get to show that in the movie. And of course, they did show the interplay a little bit between Bastila and Karth. But they've very much made it that Bastila looks up to Karth and that he was her mentor and things like that. That's not exactly how it plays out the first time that Karth and Bastila meet up again on the surface. So having that space to, again, devote 10 minutes of a 45-minute run. I mean, you could technically make this long enough to push it to an hour, in my opinion. And as a kind of primer, as a pilot episode, whatever you want to call it, they typically are longer episodes. I definitely think you can do a lot with that to really establish the characters of Bastila, Karth. We'll say Eric's because that's what I always name my character. I actually got that from the random name generator of this video game the first time I ever played it when I was like, how old would I have been? I would have been 15, I think, because 2003. So 14, 15 years old. So the 3 people and their backstories, as well as Trask, who's a big part of the backstory, even Darth Vanden and his backstory a little bit, just seeing the interplay between Jedi and Sith and that battle that you stand back and kind of wait for them to finish killing each other. You can see all of that interplay in this first episode before you ever even get off of the ship. But that's definitely one episode.
You've made it just in time. There's only one active escape pod left. Come on, we can hide out on the planet below. I'm a soldier with the Republic, like you. We're the last 2 crew members left in the Emperor Spire. Bastila's escape pod's already gone, so there's no reason for us to stick around here and get shot by the Sith. Now, come on! There'll be time for questions later.
So, I definitely like being the distrustful smuggler type. In the movie, they had the engineer set up the ship to self-destruct so that it blew up all of the Sith who were on it as well. I guess that's reasonable. Again, it didn't really make sense in the purpose of the story of like, no, we need to get on here so we don't, get blown up. I feel like right here is where the episode ends. You get a glimpse of the surface, and then right there is where you cut it. And then we start episode 2. And of course, he's doing his let's have a nightmare. Totally fine. I think that the visions and the dreams, though, should be interspersed with glimpses of, his past. But again, his past as a smuggler, his past as a kid, his past as whatever.
Good to see you up instead of thrashing about in your sleep. You must have been having one hell of a nightmare. I was wondering if you were ever going to wake up. I'm Karth, one of the Republic soldiers from the Endar Spire. I was with you in the escape pod. Do you remember?
And also in the movie, they did a very good job of, while they're doing the escape pod and they're on it or in it and they're going down to the planet, they have more dialogue back and forth about, like the engineer's like, well, at least that's over, and he's like, we're not out of it yet, and brace for impact and all that stuff. Absolutely a great thing to have. Before we end the first episode and then come into here. So then he can
consciousness for a couple of days
introduce
now, so I
himself.
imagine you're pretty confused about things, but try not to worry. We're safe. At least for the moment. We're in an abandoned apartment on the
Now,
planet
I understand why
Thanos.
people don't want to necessarily have a name for this character.
I was able to drag you away from our crash site and all the confusion.
But you need
I
to-
stumbled into this abandoned apartment. By the time the Sith arrived on the scene, we were long gone.
Even if it's just like a nickname, not a nickname that is the engineer, hey kid, that sort of thing, but like a nickname he gives himself, right? Call him RJ or whatever, he calls himself whatever. So,
You don't have to thank me. I've never abandoned anyone on a mission, and I'm not about to start now. Besides, I'm gonna need your help.
And I also
Terrace is under
appreciate
Sith
this
control.
dialogue
Their fleet
choice.
is orbiting the planet. They've declared
I
martial
guess I owe you
law,
my
and
life,
they've
thanks,
imposed
and
a
now we have a
planet-wide
bond.
quarantine.
Oh, you don't have to thank me. I've never
But I've
abandoned
been in
anyone on a
worse
mission, and I
spots.
need
I saw on
help.
your service records that you
Versus
understand a
in
remarkable number of
the
alien
movie,
languages.
it's like, oh, well, I
It's
can just
pretty
leave.
rare in a raw recruit. But it should come in handy while we're stranded
yeah,
on a
service
foreign world.
records,
There is
raw
no way the
recruits,
Republic will be
these
able to
are
get anyone
things
through
that
the Sith
they could
blockade to help
absolutely
us.
be bringing
If we're
up
gonna
in
find
the first
Bastila
episode
and
of
get
why
off this
even
planet,
send Trask to
we
go
can't
get this
rely on
guy.
anybody but ourselves.
So why is it so important to find
That
that?
smack to your head did more damage than I thought. Bastila's a Jedi. She was with the strike team that killed Darth Revan, Malak's Sith master. Bastila's the key to the whole Republic war effort. The Sith must have found out that she was on the Endar Spire and set an ambush for us in this system.
Which is
I
something
believe
that they
Bastila
showed
was
in
on
the
one of the
first
escape
episode,
pods
how
that
they set
crashed
it
down
up.
here on Terrace. For the sake of the Republic war effort, we have to try and find her.
Now, I believe Basila's on one of the escape pods. You should know, bro. But especially if we make it so he's the one who puts her in the escape pod and sends her. Which I thought was really good in the movie, where she's like, look after the crew, and he's like, aye, Captain, or whatever. It was a nice little bonding moment, but whatever that interchange was, we could have seen it in the first episode. So, now we can have this whole back and forth, the discussion of why is it so important? Why do they want her alive?
Bastila
All
is
this
no
stuff.
ordinary Jedi. She has a rare gift the Jedi call battle meditation. Bastila's power can influence entire armies. Through the Force, Bastila can inspire her allies with confidence and make her enemies lose their will to fight. Often that's all it takes to tip the balance in a battle. Of course, there are limits to what she can do, but from what I understand of her ability, it requires great concentration and focus to maintain her battle meditation. The attack on the Endar Spire happened so fast, she never had a chance to use her battle meditation. Like us, she barely got out alive.
So then, we can go through all these.
Bastila's gonna need our help. Many of Darth Malak's followers can use the dark side of the Force, and the Sith have already killed more than their share of Jedi in this war. nobody will be looking for a couple of common soldiers like us. And if we're careful, we can move about the planet without attracting notice. A luxury Bastila won't have. She's gonna have half the Sith fleet looking for her. They know how important she is to the war effort. The whole planet is under quarantine. No ships can land or take off. So if Bastila's gonna escape Terrace, she's gonna need our help. And we'll probably need hers.
And then this reluctance, right? This, like I said, they already laid out these character choices that you get to make as the player, but in a TV setup, it can be very deliberate as to the character arc that you're trying to create.
Good. We're gonna need to work together if we're gonna survive. While you were out, I did some scouting around. There are
Especially when you
reports of a
have
couple of escape pods
people
crashing down
you're
into
supposed
the
to,
Undercity.
as the audience,
It's probably a good
really
place to
supposed
start.
to.
But the Undercity's a dangerous
Karth
place. We don't want to go there
and
unprepared. It
Trask
won't do
are
Bastila any
supposed to
good
be
if we
the
go
first
and
two
get ourselves
characters
killed.
who do a lot of talking to you and talking at you. You know, you really want to have a lot of ways for them to not just have exposition to explain what's going on, but to really connect with them and be won over by how earnest they are, right? They are emblematic of the Republic, because neither of them are Jedi. You're not meant to look at them as representing, you know, there is no emotion, there's peace, like that sort of thing. You're looking at them as to, why do we want to save the Republic? Because we've got people like Trask who are willing to risk their lives and literally give up their life for others. You've got Karth, who understands the big picture and has seen all the horrors of it, but still is optimistic that not only they can win, but they can keep their humanity while they do it. We really want to try and prove those things through the first episode into the second episode, and the second episode is very much Karth.
Good idea. We can use this abandoned apartment as a base. We can probably get some equipment and supplies here in the upper city. Just remember to keep a low profile. I've heard some grim stories about the Dark Jedi interrogation techniques. They say the Force can do terrible things to a mind. It can wipe away your memories and destroy your very identity. But I figure if we don't do anything stupid, we should be okay. I mean, after all, they're looking for Bastila, not a couple of grunts like us. All right, soldier, let's move out.
They're looking for Bastila, not a couple of grunts like us. Love that. Love that stuff. Alright, so open this now. Stuff. And then the idea that it has a workbench is hilarious, but I really like having something like that in the place that they have for the apartment. I definitely want that to be a thing where the character is constantly tinkering. Now, I will say that when it's somebody else's weapon, right, like Karth has his own blaster that is upgradable, I would love to have scenes of that too, where in breaks between what's going on during the different episodes, you see Karth tinkering with his blaster as well. I think it can be very emblematic of every character in this game having their own character arc and showing that off as they're working on the workbench. It doesn't have to be every single time, but I think it could be a nice piece of the puzzle that you would not get in any other format.
Yes, what's on your mind?
So I'll ask him about. And this is what
Terrace?
he can say.
Well, the planet's all one big city.
Like, as
but
they're
its
going around,
golden years
planet's
are
all
long
one big
past.
city,
And
golden
things have
years
gotten
passed,
worse
and it's gotten
since
worse
the
since
Sith occupied it.
it.
From what I hear, the wealthy live on the tops of all the tall towers, and if you're poor, you live down in the shadows. And it gets worse the lower you go. Well, that's all I can think of, at any rate.
And now, obviously, it wouldn't be so like, I need to know more about you, Karth. Like, but these sorts of conversations absolutely could be had and expanded on throughout the episodes. Like I said, I think episode 2 should be more about Karth. This is the guy who saved you.
Me?
More about
Well,
him.
I've been a star pilot for the Republic for years. Seen more than my share of wars. I fought in the Mandalorian Wars before all this started. But with all that, I've never experienced anything like the slaughter these Sith animals can unleash. Not even the Mandalorians were that senseless. My homeworld was one of the first planets to fall to Malak's fleet. The Sith bombed it into submission, and there wasn't a damn thing our Republic forces could do to stop them.
So, I think that this conversation with Karth and what's going on with his backstory needs to be something that happens halfway through the second episode. And this is a very Karth-centric episode. And I think that this is something that can come up maybe when they're in the cantina. And maybe later on when you end up getting the uniforms and stuff to try and get down to the lower city. But there's lots and lots of opportunities for this to take place. And obviously, once we have this conversation, we're going to walk around the upper city, and there's always going to be a pause because they put it into the script for the video game of something seems to be bothering Karth. You can talk to your companions as you go to learn more about them. They're not going to obviously do that in the TV show or in a movie, but you can do it while you're out and about trying to get stuff done. That something comes up and you kind of go, are you okay? And that's when he can talk more about this, get this backstory.
I'm just a soldier. I go where the fleet admirals tell me to. I follow my orders and I do my duty. It's just... doesn't seem right that doing that means I failed them. I didn't.
And then, you know, it's not like this is my fault.
Yeah, no, that's not what I mean. I'm sorry, I'm not making much sense. You probably mean well with your questions. I'm just not accustomed to talking about my past very much. At all, actually. I'm more used to taking action, keeping my mind focused on the business at hand. So let's just do that. If you have more questions, ask them later.
So, I definitely think it's something that that conversation happens around the 30-minute mark, or right after the 30-minute mark, whatever the peak of this episode can be, right? And for a B plot in this episode, there's a couple options. But obviously venturing forth, trying to see what's going on. Oh, we need to go out and look for Bastila. Cool. The other piece of it is how long are we actually going to be on Taurus? Because they are looking for Bastila, they put the planet in a quarantine, they put all of this Sith battle fleet into formation to kind of keep everyone from leaving. They've already got the whole planet on lockdown to shoot any ships that try and fly off an entire planet. So, to me, there's at least 2 weeks that this is taking place over, probably longer, but I think the first season is definitely centered only on the Endar Spire, into Terrace, and then escaping Taurus. I think that's the whole first season. There's so much that is done or can be done on Taurus, and of course, I'm a completionist. I'm going to play all of it, but I think that all of the stories are really good.
Right, you alien scum.
Right out the gate.
Everybody get up against the wall. This is a raid.
And I love how, with the voice lines, they lay out the whole Duros how to
That's
sing
how
it.
we Sith deal with smart-mouth aliens.
So you can literally
Now the
listen
rest
to
of you,
that
get up
with
against the
voice
wall
actors
before I
to do
lose
that
my
voice.
temper again.
What's
this?
Humans
Humans hiding out with aliens.
Learn the
They're
whole line
Republic
by just
fugitives.
reading
Attack!
what the Duros said in this game, because they just have like it's just the line, it's already translated, there's already text, we don't really have to say much. Instead, it's, no, let's have them say everything the way it's supposed to be said in Duros. Okay, cool. Alright, so Karth, my real gunslinger. He's going to blast everybody to bits. And my character. And again, this would be something that would be a character choice in designing Eric's or whoever the main character is, right? Is after the way this guy is just super xenophobic and a dickhead, my character be like, oh, you're mine.
Yeah.
That's not that time. Duros. Whoa. The Duros is definitely injured. And that's definitely like I said, yeah, won't someone come searching for this patrol? Don't worry about the bodies. So there you go. Perfect. I forgot about that. This Duro shows up later. He is later in this game. So absolutely, this is our B plot. Is this Duros is... You've got to have a name for him, not just Duros. And we absolutely need to have a B plot for this man to hide the bodies, to try and get away with it, etc., etc. Because he doesn't get away with it. Spoiler alert. So trying to show what happens to him and how things keep going south for him. Or maybe he gets away with it for a little while, or whatever. There's all sorts of things there. So, lots and lots of good options for a B plot right out the gate. Good enough to definitely fill a 45-minute episode. Now, again, my thought process is that you go around and talk to everybody.
Watch where you're walking. I just cleaned those floors. Well, all right then. No hard feelings. My name's Kadir. I'm the janitor for this building. You must be the new tenant here, right? You ever thought they'd rent that abandoned apartment? You look like an off-worlder. What happened? You get stuck here because of the quarantine? Can't see any other reason someone would want to rent that old apartment.
Kadir. And so he's a janitor.
Don't know how much I can tell you, but seeing as how you're new here, I guess I can try and help you out. Decent enough place to live, I guess, except for the lower levels. That's where the swoop gangs hang out. Just stay in Upper City and you'll be fine. You also might want to check out the cantina. I used to go there when I was younger. A good place to get a drink and find out what's going on in the Upper City. Just keep following the apartment complex ring until you come to the elevator. It'll take you out to the upper streets there. And from there, just head south a ways. You can't miss it. Don't know how much I can tell you, but seeing as how you're new here, I guess I can try and help you out. Not much of an issue for me, you know. I ain't never left Taurus, and they ain't never gonna. A lot of other folks are sure riled up about it, but I don't really know much about it. I prefer to keep to myself mostly. But there's plenty of people at the cantina who'll be more than happy to tell you what they think about the Sith and their quarantine.
So these sorts of conversations, I think you can't do this in a movie, for sure. But I think stuff like this is really powerful for meeting all these people from the planet.
I'll probably see you around. I'm here most of the time. The building doesn't clean itself, you know.
And so, is it for a plot line? Is it for any sort of particular purpose? Maybe, maybe not. But it's certainly worth the world-building experience to get to know these guys. Right? Okay, Twi'lek, restriction laws that happen now.
No problem. Got it.
And absolutely my character, like I said, in my estimation, morally ambiguous characters are better, and this guy is all about getting ahead. As in any RPG, you want to amass the most stuff because you don't know what you're going to need in order to, you know, get the good weapons, get the good whatever. So this is the elevator. Quarren. Yes, so Hattise. That's
I'll avoid what I can. No problem. Got it.
There's an Thorian. Now we're going to rob him. Though he had... Was that a frag grenade? What did you just get? Show new items. Oh no, it was a repair kit. I think it actually says we've got the... What is it? Right here. Feedback. That's all it says is 3 credits. Eh. But, you know, having a character who absolutely is doing that.
And now for the Dufta.
Here, that was here, that was alone.
I'll avoid what I can. No problem. Got it.
There's a Twi'lek. I thought there was one more. Oh, there's the bag. A lot of computer spikes. A lot of people trying to hack things. Totally reasonable. Nice. And then this guy interrupts them. It looks like you might need some energy shields, you know, after you kill the man right next to him. And then is even nice enough to introduce himself. You know, Lauren. Oh, my name is Eric's. Or I don't care, and I'm not telling you mine. I don't know. My character, like I said, I think that the best character is someone who is fairly charismatic. In the movie, they had the engineer be unlike 99% of engineers I've ever met in my life, and he has like the best social skills of all time, like charisma at a 20. So, actually, yeah, I should have actually said, aliens, deer, harmless. What do you have? Kiosk. Achuta, okay. So, even talking about the energy shields and how they work, and talking about the stealth generators and how they work, it's not something that in other Star Wars, well, certainly movies, you'd have time to be able to get into the tech, right? The actual how does this work sort of thing. They kind of do it but usually it's very hand wavy and whatever. It's fine. It's magic. But this is not the Force. This is specifically science or pseudoscience for Star Wars world. But being able to have that space to talk about shields, and you know, I believe I missed the spot where Karth can over here and say, yeah, we got wiped out by the Sith when they showed up with these energy shields and we didn't. Something like that. So, just sell off stuff. We're going to keep the longsword, sell the vibra blades, blaster pistols, blaster rifle. Yep. $20 points, 20 points, 20 points. It's 15. Don't need the stamina and strength. But this is the thing, right? They have, like, stimulants. They have stim packs. They have grenades. They have... and they actually showed the grenades in some of the stuff. You know, thermal detonators, stuff like that. The cortosis weave, you know, stuff like that. Being able to have a discussion about these things, I think, is super helpful, because everybody has energy shields now, makes it so that people are now favoring melee attack, because the swords can cut right through. The cortosis weave allows you to disrupt the energy shields and cut right through it and hit the person, versus if you shoot them with a blaster, it bounces off of them. I think that's a great discussion to be had during this second episode where you're being introduced to Taurus, but also to the universe in general of how does fighting work here? Why do we have people who are fighting hand-to-hand versus everybody just shooting blasters at each other? Why wouldn't they just shoot blasters at each other? Well, that's why. So it's a really good option for getting deeper into the, we'll call it lore, but like the tech of the place. So definitely going to sell the cryoban ones because they're almost double of, and they cause the same amount of damage. I don't even know if we need a security one. I don't think we do. Because once we get our droid, he's going to have, his security is going to be through the wazoo, so. But yeah, we're going to keep that one for Mr. Zalbar, and we're going to sell that one as well. So, whoo-wee, 100 credits per computer spike. So, here in the game, my character, who started with no credits, already has over 700. Again, the economy of this, I think, would be really fun to explore of, like, how easy is it to get credits? Is a credit just $1, right? Which, sure, maybe. Maybe it's something smaller, but having a sense of what that's actually worth, I think, what does 100 credits buy you? That would be something that you could explore more deeply in this setup, because you have a character who isn't really a part of the world, right? They crash landed, they don't know what's going on, they have to kind of make their way through a fully functioning world, a fully functioning society, and economy, and all that stuff. So, a meta pack to make you feel better after getting injured or whatever, or even worn out, costs you 44 credits. A computer spike, for God knows what reason, in parts, which are hyper illegal, are 200 plus credits, so that's fun. Or like a heavy suit for combat, a heavy battle armor is 275. So it's, sonic pistols, stuff like that. You can buy infinite blaster rifle pistols from this guy for 100 credits, and one blaster rifle for 300 credits. And energy shields 154. A sound dampening unit. Improves on the base stealth mode by dampening all sound. They must make an awareness check, and combat disrupts the field, but not mundane tasks. Cool. So these are all fun things to explore in this episode and further episodes while you're on Taurus, while you're going through this stuff and kind of the main character is learning about it. He should already know about stealth dampening units, but he wouldn't know that the Republic developed a better one, right? Something like that. Karth would be a good person to talk to about that, of like, oh man, you got a stealth dampening unit? Those are really valuable. That sort of thing. So, this is
I'll avoid what I can.
Is
no problem. Got it.
Not gonna talk to Dia. I'm gonna grab whatever she left in here. Aha, there it is. But like in the first episode, I definitely think that a roguelike character would have absolutely checked out the entire apartment complex before they ever left the city. If they're in the video, again, in the movie, you've only got 2 hours to work with for telling multiple planets worth of stuff. They tell the first 2 planets, or they cover the first 2 planets in 2 hours. You can't do all this. But in an episode where you have 45 minutes to do all this, the first episode absolutely is exploring the upper city. That's what this episode's about. We've got our B plot of the Duros doing stuff as well. But going through and checking out salvage droids that are looking at all these escape pods, and did you hear about these things? And people are talking about it on the street. The Republic space pod. This lady talking about whatever.
Taurus used to be a nice place before the Sith showed up and started bossing us around.
Right, there you go. You've got these Sith folks, which they did a really fun job with it in the movie of Officer, as the Sith guys are just walking around with their guns.
If the Sith wanted to get on everyone's good side, they'd go clean up the swoop gangs in the lower city.
I heard the Sith are sending salvage teams down to the Undercity to recover those Republic escape pods.
People complain about the Sith, but this quarantine is good for all the businesses on Terrace. Look at Javiar's Cantina. That place has never been busier.
I heard there's a swoop gang war in the lower city. They say you can get shot just walking in the streets down there.
So all these things can be brought up over the space of, you know, talking to people, whatever. Talk to the Equipment Emporium.
Hello there. I haven't seen you in my shop before. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kebla Yurt. Welcome to the Equipment Emporium. You looking to buy some supplies? My shop's the largest one in all of Upper Terrace. Best selection on the planet. Whatever you need, I've got. Well, mostly.
Mostly? What do you mean by that?
The Sith confiscated all my heavy weapons, and they impounded all my ships and swoop bikes. But I've still got a real nice selection, if you're interested.
And I think it'd even be a fun little character thing where my character, the main character, is always looking to ask questions. He always has questions. He always wants to know answers.
Anything I can do to help a potential customer out. What do you want to know? I heard a couple of pods crash down in the Undercity. I bet the crash sites have already been stripped clean by the Sith, though. Unless the swoop gangs or Davik's men got there first. Oh, Davik's a legitimate businessman, if you get my drift. Smuggling, slaving, extortion. Mm-hmm. They say he's a member of the Exchange, you know, the big intergalactic criminal organization.
Well, I've heard of the Exchange. Bad organization to cross. But if anyone has blockade-breaking ships, however, it's them.
I have to pay him a protection fee every month, but it's reasonable. And I get most of my inventory through Davik and his suppliers. I'm just smart enough not to ask where it came from, you understand? Davik hates the Sith as much as anybody. The quarantine has put a real dent in his operations, too. But he's keeping a low profile as long as the occupation lasts. Davik stays out of the way, and the Sith don't bother him. The swoop gangs could learn a thing or two from this tidy little arrangement, instead of always going after each other. I don't have anything good to say about those swoop gangs. Zooming around on their swoop bikes, terrorizing the lower city like a bunch of animals. Things weren't so bad when the hidden Becks were running the show. But ever since the rise of the Black Vulcar gang, the lower city has been nothing short of a war zone. The Sith haven't even bothered trying to maintain order down there. And I heard a rumor that Davik's own people are having problems with the Black Vulcars now. Good day to you, then. Remember to come back to my shop if you ever need any supplies.
So, conversations like that are what make an RPG game, but I think it's also what make a very engaging TV show. I also love the fact that you can try and break into the cantina, which is always so nice. And so here in the cantina, you've got Episodic and you've got the dueling ring. Those are kind of the two main games in here. So definitely think Episodic needs to be covered and the dueling ring needs to be covered. But how to do it is the question. So, in terms of a story, again, Smuggler absolutely would be playing Episodic. That's not, that's just what it is. But here. Yeah, and if anything, well, yeah, if anything, the combat suit should go to the soldier. He's even got his little pouch here. Like he's ready to pull a gun out or whatever.
Yes?
But
don't you just love watching the Kazakh players? All that strategy, all those credits. It's enough to make a girl get all flushed.
What do you want? Have you come here just to bother me, or do you wish to test yourself against the best Kazakh player on Taurus? My name is Niklos. I'm the unofficial champion of the Kazakh circuit here on Taurus. If you don't mind losing your wager, we could play a few hands. You don't even have your own deck? Then why are you bothering me? You can't play Kazakh without your own deck. If you're serious about Kazakh, go speak to old Garuk on the other side of the tavern. His gambling days are over, and he's looking to sell his deck.
Hello there, youngster. You interested in buying the Kazakh deck of an old man looking to get out of the gambling game? Just 50 credits and I'll sell you all my cards. I'll even throw in a free lesson to boot. It's a great deal, if you can afford it. My name's Garuk. I used to be a card shark, one of the best Kazakh players in the Outer Rim. But that was before I retired from the gambling life. Don't get me wrong, the game's been good to me over the years. I've traveled the span of the galaxy, from the core worlds to the farthest reaches of the Outer Rim. I've won countless fortunes, and lost countless more. But that was long ago, and things have changed. Gambling is a young man's game. That's why I'm looking to get out. My offer still stands. 50 credits gets you my old Kazakh deck and a free lesson. A great offer if you can afford it.
And then I can't afford that. Well, yes, I can.
Glad to see you're interested in the grand old game. The rules are pretty simple. Here, I'll load them up into your data pad so you can check them out anytime you want. Good luck. I hope the game's as good to you as it was to me. Now, is there anything else I can do for you? No, of course. No sense in a youngster like you wasting your days away with an old man in a dingy bar. But if you ever want to chat, you know where to find me.
So, like I said, this interchange with Kazakh players, Niklos, and Christia, and Garuk absolutely needs to be in an episode. Should it be in episode 2? No, I don't think so at all. I think this needs to be a later thing. And again, with a show featuring multiple different people who will all become part of the party, it could have somebody else playing Kazakh. Though again, if you have a smuggler, which is my preference, then the smuggler definitely is going to be playing.
I saw you getting a Kazakh lesson from that old fossil Garuk. Learning the rules of Kazakh is easy, but actually playing the game is a much greater challenge. Normally, I wouldn't bother with a novice like you. But since Gerud was banned for hustling cards, I haven't been able to find a good game around here. Do you wish to play again? Questions? I don't come here to answer questions. If you want to play Kazakh, then let's play. If not, then quit crowding my gambling table. I'm going to enjoy relieving you of your credits almost as much as I'm going to enjoy humiliating you.
So, maximum wager is 40, and I'm almost positive that you always lose the first one, but we'll see. We'll just wager 4 credits. But I love the dynamic of deal the cards again, I'm gonna wipe that smile off your face. Like, it's just quality writing. Oh, he's gonna call it. Yes, sir. Win number 1. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna get obliterated here. Sure. 19. Ooh, we still didn't have a negative. Oh Yep, 10s are killer. Gotta go for it. Gotta go for that win. And he hits an 8. Like I said, first round, almost always lose. But we'll see. If he goes up higher, I'm going 11. So he's going to go for the 19. Ah. And the last one. Oh, hell yeah.
You were lucky to win the last match, but luck is no substitute for skill in Pazak. If you are foolish enough to play me again, I won't repeat the mistake of underestimating you.
See, and then you think it was luck, let's do it again. Like, there's an entire B plot to be had, C plot to be had, of constantly messing with this dude, Nikos.
If you ever wish to test yourself against the best Pazak player on Taris, you know where to find me.
And then if you come out here...
I saw your match against Nikos. He doesn't lose very often. I bet you could make a lot of credits as a professional Kazakh player. You know, you're my kind of guy, rich and handsome, just the way I like them. Why don't we slip away to the tap room together? The bartender can mix us up something special for only 20 credits. If you play your cards right, Kazakh might not be the only game you get lucky at tonight.
20 credits. Well, again, if we're talking credits like an entire med pack is 40 credits, then yeah, 20 credits seems like a lot.
Well, I'm used to the finer things in life. I'm not about to lower my standards for any man. So how about it? You want me to get those drinks for us? What's the matter, you shy? Suit yourself. I'll be here if you change your mind. Just waiting for a nice, rich Kazakh player to come along.
And so, the funnier part to me is that if you play as a female character, which canonically, the main character in this game is male. The main character in KOTOR 2 is female. But she just says, wow, you're really good at Kazakh. You could make a lot of money as a professional player. So, anyway, as we go by...
Hi there. I haven't seen you around before. Of course, they don't give us Sith officers from the military base much time off. I'm off duty right now, so I'm not in uniform. My name is Sana, junior officer, first class with the Sith occupation force. I'm actually a little surprised you're talking to me at all. Most of the people here on Taris can't stand us Sith. It can make this job pretty lonely. It's true, but people don't appreciate what we've done for them. We could have slapped a curfew on this whole planet, but we didn't. You know, it's like everyone on this backwater planet is in a permanent bad mood. Don't they know we have to make the best of things? Exactly, it's all about attitude. I didn't ask to be assigned to this backwater planet, but I try to make the best of it. It's pretty easy to get depressed on an assignment like this, but we do what we can to keep our spirits up. That's true. It's nice to meet someone who understands what I'm going through. It's good to talk about this stuff. It gets pretty lonely at the military base. I have to get going soon. I've got a shift at the military base, but some of us junior Sith officers are having a party tonight to blow off some steam. I'd really like to see you again. Why don't you drop by the party? I'll show you where it is on your map. Don't be late. We're starting right after our shifts end. Most of us won't even be going back to the base to lock up our uniforms. I look forward to seeing you there.
So, we've got a Sarna move, which they did in the movie as well. I thought that was well done. But that one, they didn't have a let's go to a party later. They had a let's start drinking now and then dump the alcohol out, and then she just drinks herself under the table and you take her ID badge. To then get into the lockers to then get her uniform. And of course they make fun of Card for being like, I'm surprised it even fits you.
What? Why are you speaking to me? Can't you tell from my clothing that I'm of the nobility? Get away from me. I can't be seen talking with a common rabble. It wouldn't be proper for a man of my standing.
Yep. So like Taresian nobles and there's plenty of stuff to be had here for at least 2 episodes. I would say that The rest of this episode, maybe you talk to Sarna, maybe you don't. You definitely have the party thing happen in the third episode. So I think the third episode would center around the con, right? Talking to Sarna, getting invited to the party, getting the uniform so then you can actually get out of the upper city. This episode, I think, is about exploring the upper city, getting to know what's going on. Jurgen.
I don't know what the guys in here find so attractive about those Twi'leks. Look at them. They're dressed like little dirty space wenches.
The music room patron, that sort of thing.
Ready?
What?
I wish the off-duty Sith would stop coming in here for drinks. I mean, scouring the Undercity looking for the Republic escape pods and they reek of the sewers. You know, it's bad enough the Sith conquered this planet, but do they have to come in here, relax, and rub their presence on our faces?
No hard feelings, my good man, but I can't really talk with you right now. It's difficult enough to draw the interest of the ladies in this establishment as it is. Surely you understand what I'm talking about. I guess you've experienced many lonely evenings, something I'm hoping to avoid tonight.
So, but even him, like, there could be a whole thing of trying to send Jurgen to Christia's way and see how that goes.
I'm surprised the Sith haven't done anything to try to bring in Davik. After all, everyone knows he's the crime lord who runs this planet.
Nice outfit. I've seen outcasts in the Undercity who dress better than you.
Yeah, that lower city is nothing but a slum. If the Sith want to win us Teresians over, they should clean the gangs out of there.
You aren't from Terrace, are you? Do yourself a favor and stay away from the Teresian ale. It packs more kick than most off-worlders can handle. Nice outfit. I've seen outcasts in the Undercity who dress better than you.
Who dresses you? You look like you crawled up here from the lower city. Oh well, I guess we can't all have style.
That quarantine must be tough when you off-worlders stuck here. You should try and make the best of it and order yourself some Teresian ale. It'll take away some of the sting.
Yeah, so definitely the whole thing about Teresian ale is great.
I wish the off-duty Sith would stop coming in here for drinks. I mean, scouring the Undercity looking for the Republic
so
escape
I think
pods and we reek of the sewers.
Definitely ending this episode will be around Daddy Dearest here.
I'm not here to chat. I just finished a long shift at the military base, and now I'm just looking to relax.
This cantina isn't the fanciest joint I've ever been in, but it's a good place to unwind after a hard shift at the military base.
Are you our waiter? Ghana's buying tonight. Talk to her to get my order.
Ghana's ordering tonight.
Where did you get those clothes? A trash compactor in the lower city? And where are those drinks we ordered?
Careful what you say. I get the feeling this spoiled brat could cause us more trouble than she's worth.
Why is the help here so incompetent? One word from Daddy and I could get you fired. How dare you speak to me like that? Daddy's going to hear about this.
She runs out. And, you know, I think having that to show a little, like, righteous anger from the main character is fun. And then, of course,
I can't believe we couldn't get arena tickets for this match. Now we'll have to watch the duel on the view screen.
Who cares? It's Duncan and Gurlon fighting. It's not like we're gonna miss anything good.
Shh, they're about to start, so quit complaining and just watch the view screen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I draw your attention to the dueling ring. Here, two combatants will battle for your viewing and gambling enjoyment. Now, I hope all your bets are down because we're ready to roll. In this corner, I give you Gurlon Two Fingers.
I wish they had.
And over here,
really
looking to climb the ranks yet again, is the ever-persistent Jedi Duncan.
They did okay. But also, this fight lasted way too long. They were constantly fighting in the background. And it's like, no, the whole point of this fight was instant kill. Oops, he dropped it. Boom.
And to nobody's great surprise, Jedi is down again. Don't worry, folks. He's just unconscious. As usual, our medics will have him up and about in a bit. Well, that was quick, wasn't it? So I give you the winner, Gerlon Twofinger.
Talking to them.
It's good to see Marl's still around after all these years. He proves this isn't just a young man's game.
You know, have the dual spectators, even though there's only 2 of them, which is really
I love watching Ice fight. She proves this isn't just a man's game.
Hava! Uba baska dwana chichopa muska! Kiyokaku! Oscar! Kiska nichu! The Hoopa Botania go Gigi Piti!
These are lovely characters in the duel ring, and you definitely have to talk about it. So yeah, I definitely think that this episode, the A plot is Karth here talking about stuff with the Sith, even like as you talk to Sarna and try and talk to her and flirt with her, and he's just like disgusted. Be like, "What's the problem?" And be like, "Oh, yeah." Even the Mandalorians weren't that senseless, you know, and going on and on about it, and kind of being like, "Dude, what's the problem? What's your deal?" And then he explains a little bit. But I think just getting to Javier's Cantina, getting the fight in the apartment, exploring the apartment complex, and then getting over to the cantina, kind of seeing a bit of Taurus, the upper city, and getting to the cantina, having these conversations inside, and fighting in at least one.
What are you looking at, fresh meat? You want a piece of me? You want to step in the dueling chambers with me? I'm Deadeye Duncan, the number 5 ranked duelist in this cantina. You must have seen me in the dueling chambers, right? 5. But it's an elite group, okay? It's not like just anyone can step into the dueling chamber. Well, actually, anyone can, but not many do. You know, the dueling chambers. 2 people in combat, loser gets carried out unconscious on a stretcher. It's the only reason people come into this part of the cantina. Look, I'm the number 5 ranked duelist around here. I don't have time to explain all this. Go talk to the duel organizer if you're interested. He's that hut over there in the corner. Big talk. Go speak with the hut in the corner to back it up. He's the duel organizer. I'll look forward to our match. Fresh meat is just what I need to end my losing streak.
We'll talk to him.
I haven't seen you around here before. You looking to step into the duel ring? Or did you just come to watch? Good to see some new blood in the fight game. Things have gotten pretty stale around here lately. If you're serious about this, go talk to Azure the Hutt. He's the duel organizer. He'll probably start a rookie like you out against Duncan.
Now, the question is, if you aren't a soldier background, why would a...
Hello there, Offworlder. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Marl. I'm one of the duelists here at the cantina. I was wondering when you'd get around to talking to me. No, we've never met. It's just that most people who come here to watch the duels are bored nobles, looking for a little excitement in their drab lives. But you're different. You look like you know a thing or two about combat. I'm guessing you didn't come here to sit on the sidelines and watch a duel. Are you looking for a match? The duels themselves are simple enough. 2 combatants armed with stun pistols into the ring. One walks out a winner. The other is carried out unconscious on a stretcher. If you're interested in setting up a match, or if you want to place a wager, just go speak to Azure. He's that hut over in the corner. He'll make all the arrangements. Goodbye, stranger. Maybe we'll talk again later.
And then, of course, it is.
I know what you're going to say. I'm so beautiful, I'm so attractive. How can someone who looks so hot with a weapon in her hand be called Ice? Well, I've heard it all before. I'm here to take care of business in the dueling ring, not to have some slack-jawed, goggle-eyed man slobber all over me. So back off. Now you know why they call me Ice. If you're looking for a match, go talk to Azure. He's that big hut over there in the corner. Otherwise, just go away.
Yeah, so definitely these all 5 duelists are very interesting characters, and you gotta have some way to engage with them, I think, on more than just a quick, oh, we watched the duel, cool, and that's it. Now the question is, again, why would a smuggler,
Ready?
a rogue character
Yes?
basically, sign up to do a one-on-one fighting thing? So, let's talk to him. Nobody dies in the
Vibroblades and blasters, and nobody ever dies. How come I get the feeling you're trying to take us for a ride?
In this whole conversation with him, no one will recognize you in off-worlder. From now on, you're the mysterious stranger. Be like, it's a terrible name. What do you know? For 20 years. That's your name. No past. You have some big dark secrets. Makes them better.
This is for the best. We could use those credits from these duels, but using your real name is too risky. The Sith might have come across some crew manifest back on the Inner Spire.
So, tiny. So, I think that this leads to a back and forth, and Karth is like, yeah, I'm not gonna do this. You can do whatever you want, but I'm not fighting in this. But now, since everybody wears a combat suit, we gotta wear a combat suit. And either have, what is it, a +3 to attack, or +2 with the vibroblade. Alright. Even have a back and forth with why Karth isn't going to be doing this fight. Why is it going to be the main character instead?
Yes, what's on your mind? You got it.
And so he could say, I don't feel comfortable doing it. If you want to put your life on the line, I'll make sure I got your back so you'll come out of this okay. But I'm too old for this, or I'm not doing this, or whatever reason he may have. But also, like you said, we can use the credits for that. Especially if the main character is not telling Karth every time he goes in and steals from an apartment and ends up amassing a side chunk of money. You can be like, oh yeah, no, you're right. Okay, let's do it. Only one rule, nobody dies.
Ladies and gentlemen, draw your eyes to the center ring. We have a very special presentation in store for you. You've seen him lose night after night after night, but this time, he's after fresh meat. In this corner, I give you Jedi Dumpkin! And in the other corner, a relative newcomer to the Taris dueling scene, emerging from the shadows with no history, no past, and no name, the mysterious stranger!
Yep, definitely one of my favorite parts of Taurus is this announcer, this whole setup. So figuring out a conceit to make sure that this happens during at least by the third episode at the least, but probably the second episode. Pristine.
Mysterious stranger has won! But really, are any of us surprised? Jedi losing isn't huge. You have to do better than that to impress us, stranger.
And so at least having that first fight is good. And then having the follow-up with everybody.
Uh-huh. Sure. Uh-huh.
It's glitched. Alright, it's okay.
What do you want? Oh, let me guess. You beat me in the dueling ring and now you're gonna rub it in my face. Well, I'm used to it. So pardon me if I ignore your gloating. Gee, I wonder why. Couldn't have anything to do with being the worst duelist on Terrace, could it? Even a rookie like you got the better of me. Look, I admit it, you're better than me. Everyone's better than me. Blindfolded one-legged tack with a rusty knife could probably beat me, okay? Is that what you wanted to hear? You satisfied yet? Are you happy now that you've taken the last shred of dignity I have? Oh, well, okay. Goodbye, then.
Good stuff.
Sure.
You still won't let me move? Alright, well, that's done.
I'll avoid what I can. Uh-huh. Sure.
I saw your match against Duncan. Not bad for a rookie. But Deadeye's a joke. Even after I lost the use of my fingers, I can still beat him. Go talk to Azure, the duel organizer, if you want to step up to the big leagues. I'll show you what it's like to fight a real duelist.
Uh-huh.
What do you want? Wait, let me guess. Now that you're a duelist, you figure we have something in common. Something to chat about, right? Wrong. Just because we're both duelists doesn't mean we're suddenly friends. So give me some space, stranger. I've got nothing more to say to you.
Yes?
I see you got your feet wet in the duel ring. Not bad. You've got real talent, kid. Stick with it and you'll go places. If you're interested in setting up a match... Goodbye, stranger. Maybe we'll talk again later.
Marl's definitely the OG. And I think... Well, pretty sure. I don't even know if it'll show up because it's a little glitchy with Twitch.
Hakochi Chopa! Kimba Mui Rap Wanaji! Kiska Nichu! Oscar! Kiska Nichu! Hava! Uba Baska Dwana Chichopa Muska!
What?
Uh-huh. So... turn that on. Nice. Not gonna talk to Bendak right now.
What?
Uh-huh. Instead, I think that... And again, this would be episode 2, 45 minutes. So... basically 15 minutes going through the fight into exploring the apartment complexes, even showing off a little bit of larceny, or whatever reason to explore each of the apartments. If it's not breaking in to try and steal, it's to at least knock on the door and say, hi, how are you? And like showing off that the main character can speak a remarkable number of languages. That is a good way to prove that. And then going over to the cantina, getting a view of the city itself with, the speeders and all that stuff. Definitely is a nice touch to get into the cantina itself. Maybe talking to Kebla along the way. Things like that. So that would all take 15 minutes, maybe 20. There'd be this sidebar of when they're traveling from place to place to show off Duros and what he does after you save him. And he's trying to hide the bodies and maybe even follow up on the Sith snooping around and trying to figure out what happened, because obviously one of their patrol got killed. So that's never great. But then we end with this. We've got thugs to deal with because of Daddy.
What?
Hey, card.
Daddy!
What? Fortunately, they all have stuff on them.
What?
Welcome to the Equipment Emporium. Finest selection of supplies in all of Terrace. You interested in seeing what I have in stock? Just so you know, the prices on the items are final. No bargaining here. This isn't a swap meet, okay? I only deal in top-notch stuff.
So then, which she says that, and the Bonadian alloy heavy suit is pretty nice. You know. But even this, when you're trying to have interactions with the merchants, so far we've only got two. We've got Larum in the beat-up apartment, and he's talking all about shields and all of that stuff. And then you've got Kebla here, who's talking about how there's swoop bikes and ships and heavy weapons and all of that, like, categories of stuff. They're both good foils for trying to explain how the world works, right? How these mechanics actually operate. Talking about this stuff that she has for sale. And, going back and forth on it. Like, what's this Ichani ritual brand, right? And it's like, oh, yeah, I got that from a fire dancer who uses it in a graceful pattern, and it can cause a ton of damage or whatever, Or a Sith sniper rifle. What does that do? How does that work? So, having these, vibro sword and all that. Okay, hi. Having these kind of discussions thrown out there could be fun. Definitely could be a basis for more content, but world building. That's really the bigger thing, is having that world building. And so between doing one duel and grabbing a bunch of stuff and selling it, got about 850 credits. Not bad.
Sure.
And level up. Sneak attack 2. So invited to a party on the east side of the north Upper City. So if you look at the map, this is Upper City South. And depending on how much time it takes to go through
what?
The dual ring. Here we go. Something seems to be bothering Karth. So maybe you should speak to him and see if you can open up the map.
Yes, what's on your mind? I guess I did say you could ask me questions later, didn't I? Is this really necessary? Oh. Well, if it's an interrogation you wanted, why didn't you say so?
You can see how the character reacts differently depending on which one.
All my secrets are purely of the mundane variety, unfortunately. Nothing worth extracting, though you're welcome to try. Let me ask you something first, though. I've been going through the battle aboard the Endar Spire over and over in my head since we crashed. Some things just don't add up for me. Maybe you could tell me what happened, from your perspective. Neither was I, to tell the truth. I was on board as an advisor for the most part. The battle began so fast it's anyone's guess as to what actually happened. We lost the ship and a lot of good people.
But see, here's the thing. Going back to episode 1,
would save us somehow. Not that Bastila had much of an opportunity
he could
to act. We didn't choose that battle anyway. It got forced
have
on
his
us.
own lived experience.
Hell, I'm just as surprised that any of us are alive to talk about it. Come to think of it, it's more than a little surprising that you happen to be here, isn't it? I mean, just what is your position with the Republic fleet anyway?
Right, so he's talking about, I was just there as an advisor. Okay, well, then they can say, Karth, you're a decorated war hero, etc., what do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And he could have been at the helm or, observing on the bridge exactly when everything went down. And that interaction with Bastila. And I definitely think having him put her in the escape pod and making her go was a really good idea. That's something they did in the film and something that should happen in any sort of depiction of this story is Karth is the one who actually puts her on there and says go. But here, he used to be a smuggler, is recruited to the fleet for my knowledge. Just interested in having enough stuff to weather the storm.
Smuggler? I should have guessed. Isn't it odd, however, that a smuggler who was added to the crew at the last minute just happens to be alive? You were the only one. Not to mention that Bastila's party was the one who requested your transfer.
So, Bastila's party. So, again, it would be nice that in the first episode we see how many people were in her party. Was it a party of 3 Jedi who added on to the Endar Spire and they're kind of VIPs, and they also then added the main character at the last second?
The Jedi requested numerous things when they came on board, and hell, they practically took over the ship as far as I could tell. Considering your connection to Bastila and the Jedi, whether you know it or not, your presence here seems a little convenient. I'm probably wrong, and this is probably nothing. I learned a long time ago not to take things at face value, however, and I hate surprises.
So, again, this is a nice peek into what the first episode, that kind of prelude to seeing the main character, could look like, should look like. Because you already have all this dialogue set up and you have this tension between the characters that happens in the second episode. It's a very Karth-centric episode. And what is his deal and why is he so upset?
I mean, I have to expect the unexpected, just to be safe. It has nothing to do with you personally. I don't trust anyone, and I have my reasons. And no, I'm not going to discuss them, so can we just keep our mind on more important things? Good. Like I said before, I prefer action to talk anyway.
So, that right there absolutely should happen in episode 2. The question is whether we have a big enough B storyline with the Duros or not, that we want him to be a recurring character in later episodes, or we show the Duros doing his thing, getting arrested, and that kind of ends the second episode, right? And even the two of them could be arguing about this, and then Gana Lavin shows up, and they have to kind of break off their conversation to defend themselves against thugs, and then get out of there before the Sith show up, because there's Sith patrols right around the corner. But they did try to do whatever. Now, we don't have to have them kill the thugs from Gana. They could, hold their hand, drop whatever, limp away, or go, Daddy, and run away. Whatever they drop, again, the smuggler scoops it up, and they get out of the way before the Sith patrol shows up and asks what's going on, and sells the stuff off. And she doesn't ask questions, as Kevla said earlier when she introduced herself. I get most of my supplies from the Exchange, or a dude who works for the Exchange, and I just make sure I know better than to ask questions as to where they come from. Okay. Sure, fine. So, that absolutely would be a good way to end episode 2, in my opinion. Whether that would be enough or not would depend on the amount of dialogue and how things were kind of sketched out in terms of how much time are we spending on the 3 fights that happened in the episode. Technically 4, because Deadeye and Gurlon fighting, even though that should be a one-time boom right in the chest. Because that's one of the funniest things I've still yet to this day seen in a video game, is him drop his gun and immediately get nailed and be done for the fight. I think that's a great setup, but to have you also fighting Deadeye, and then talking to everybody. So all of that would probably be plenty of time to occupy episode 2, and then they go home and even the main character can say, nah bro, I have to get ready for this party, because I'm gonna go try and see what I can learn from that Sith lady. And Karth can be like, do whatever you want, I'm out, and he can be home and sulky while you go to the party. But I still think that would take too long, because then you'd have to go through the apartments in the north side, and there's a bunch of stuff that can happen and will happen before you get there. Because on the south side, you've got you go from north to south. You also have the shakedown here that apparently people don't care about. Again, they're right over there, and they don't seem to care. And then this one's, I believe, the medical center. So there's a whole medical thing as well. I think that we might be able to squeeze in, it would probably be too much to try and have him fight Gurlon as well. And
what? Ready?
And also getting injured from that and wanting to go and get medical attention. So, in my mind, the way that this works out, you wake up in the apartment, you have your talk with Karth, and you feel like, okay, this is someone I can trust, this is my ally. You have one fight where you kill the Sith and the bots or the droids that are with him. And then you go and check out the other apartments while the Duros beats feet and tries to basically show the bodies showing up somewhere else. And the Sith trying to snoop around and other patrols and things like that. Maybe you don't make it a huge B plot, you make it a C plot. But the A and B plot is getting to the cantina, gathering information, maybe not talking to Sarni yet, but getting your feet wet in the cantina, having the locals give you the cold shoulder, and then stumble into the dueling area and seeing that and going, yeah, this is how we make money, this should be fun, this should be good, whatever. And then leaving, dealing with Ghana's nonsense, having a spat with Karth and getting to know Karth, and now all of a sudden being like, I don't know if I can trust this guy, and then maybe having this set up right here where you deal with the bounty hunters.
Davik says you missed your last payment.
Here, I've got 50 credits, a down payment. That should buy me some time, right?
Sorry, you're out of time. Now it's all or nothing. Davik can't have people not paying his debts.
But I don't have that much. How can I give you credits I don't have? No, help! Somebody help! They're going to kill me!
I know we have to be careful about drawing attention to ourselves, but Are we gonna just let them drag this guy off?
Hold on a second. Looks like we got ourselves a witness here.
So, in the movie, they already got the uniforms and were headed on their way to the elevator to go down to Lower City when they saw this, and was like, we can't make any moves, we have to just keep going, can't worry about other people. And that was on Karth's thing. So, an interesting character choice, but I think ending the episode with dealing with these bounty hunters and at least showing that the two of them, even though he doesn't trust anyone, Karth is, or they already had this argument, they at least know to put aside their differences and focus on what's right.
Yeah.
Light side. And then my character goes down. Oh, so then hopefully.
Thank you. I owe you my life. Those bounty hunters are going to take me away and kill me. My wife warned me not to take a loan from Davik. Now I can't pay him back. It's not good to owe a crime lord money. He'll just keep sending more bounty hunters after me till I'm dead.
And of course, my character's like, oh, I got hurt. And Karth saved me.
You already helped me by saving me from those bounty hunters, so unless you have a spare 100 credits to give me so I can pay off Davik, there's nothing else you can do. You're giving me 100 credits? Just like that? I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you.
You're giving him 100 credits? Generous.
Now I can pay off Davik. You've saved my life. Thank you. I'd better take these credits to him right away.
Yeah, the fun part is that on the bounty hunters, there is 100 credits. And so again, character being whatever, could absolutely be like, look, there's 100 credits on here, I'm just gonna give it to you. And then it'd still be like, that's very generous. Yeah, but it's the right thing to do. Now, we've got Zelka here.
I see from your appearance that you're an off-worlder. Still, you're welcome here. I'll not have it said that Zelka Foreign refused to help somebody just because they weren't a citizen of Terrace. Do you require healing or medical supplies? I can treat almost any injury or ailment right here at the medical facility. Except the raccoon disease, of course. It will just take me a moment while I examine your injuries, and then I'll administer the proper treatment.
And then you're back to full health. Perfect. So, it's always nice to end an episode on some sort of break point and or dramatic end. And since pretty much hitting the 2 hours that I wanted to spend on this, probably going to say that we end the second episode with dealing with the bounty hunters and the main character getting shot. Not killed, right, but seriously injured, and Karth, even after their argument, saving them, getting them to safety, whatever. Kind of a, Karth, you saved my life, thank you. You know, I never leave anybody behind, but I also don't trust anyone, and having this kind of like push-pull of how are you always going to be saving me, but also never trust me? Doesn't make any sense, right? Kind of pushing that narrative, but him getting injured and not having that satisfaction from Karth, he may lose consciousness or whatever again, and let's kind of start the episode off with them crashing and him waking up in the apartment, and then him being shot and waking up. Maybe not in the apartment, but episode 3 starts off by waking up and seeing Zelka Forn, meeting Zelka, and then being the nosy neighbor that he is, unlocking this back rooms with the lab personnel and finding the Republic soldiers that he's been helping as well, even though they're not going to make it. And also meeting
Can't you see I'm busy with my duties? Go talk to Zelka if you need something.
Can't you see him busy with that movies? Like, even the way he talks, beautiful voice acting, like he is a snake. So, anyway, I think that'll be good enough for tonight. If you've watched this live, you are awesome. If you haven't watched it live, that's okay too. I'm going to be saving these for posterity. Because I want to be able to keep it in my head of what I think is the best way to do things. So, yeah, we'll probably be on once a week. So, hope you all have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you at least next week, if not sooner.